Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mack's Public Land Hunting Outdoors. Today we're going to do a handheld range test. Now if you look at my playlist, I've got a lot of range tests done, but most of those are from different models of handhelds, Midland, TRCs, to my base station, which obviously you're going to get longer than that. With the base station being up in the air, you're going to get longer than your handheld to handheld. Now I know prior to YouTube, 25 years ago or more, I did range tests, rubber duck CB handheld to rubber duck CB handheld, and the most I think was got a mile. Now with the TRCs, with the telescoping antennas, we got 2 miles sometimes a hair longer. But even I found with the range test here from handheld to base, I may get 3-4 miles sometimes if I'm lucky. But today we're going handheld to handheld. We're going to start off with the rubber duck. My wife's at the house. She's going to have the rubber duck on same radio, same batteries. Then we're going to switch it to the HYSHIKRA long range antenna and see what happens. So let's get busy and let's see what happens. All right, rubber duck antenna to rubber duck antenna. Hey honey, can you hear me? Audio, can you hear me? All right, I can hear it's barely coming through. All right, say that again. I could barely hear you. Change to channel 14 if you can hear me. Channel 14. All right, we changed the channel, some interference on 30. Audio. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can barely. Say something again. Alright, you can barely hear that. She said hello there. Alright, so that's not that good. We're right at a mile from the house. So I'm going to switch to the long range antenna. Alright guys.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
A lot of noise, but I can hear you a little bit.
Alright, well it's a lot better. There's a lot of noise.
What do you want me to do now?
Alright, say how much you like going to the grocery store.
Say how much I hate going to the grocery store?
Yeah.
I hate going to the grocery store.
Alright, leave the long range antenna on because the other one's not going to make it 2 miles. Okay guys. You could hear it. There's a lot of static on the lines today, but I can understand her fine with the long range antenna. Definitely doing a lot better than the rubber duck antenna, so this is definitely worth the money. We're going to go to 2 miles. We're not even going to put the rubber duck antenna on because it was barely, I don't know if you could hear it on the audio. I'm going to try to put it on here, but I could just barely hear at 1 mile. So that rubber duck antenna right here in North Carolina, we're 300 foot above elevation. It's pretty flat from here to the house, which is a mile, but there's a lot of trees in the way and houses in the way. So really in this area, you're looking at a ½ mile to 3/4 of a mile maybe with a rubber duck antenna. If you're high on a mountain, looking down into a valley, obviously you can get more miles. But anyway, let's go 2 miles and we'll see what happens. All right guys, we're at 2 miles. Real sunny out here today. Change the channel to 25. Oh, we can hear. Hey, I'm at 2 miles. Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me?
I can't really hear you. I can tell it's your voice, but I can't hear what you're saying.
Alright, well I could hear you. You said you could tell it's my voice, but you couldn't hear what I was saying. Okay guys, I could hear her, but then it went out. A lot of interference today. She couldn't hear me. I could hear her one time. So what this tells you is that you might get 1.5 miles or a little more on this HYSHIKRA antenna, but it does do better because obviously we could talk to each other at 1 mile. We're on a rubber duck, which is barely coming through at 1 mile. At 2 miles, these are barely coming through. Now, like I said, elevation's everything, and this ought to tell you something about any kind of radio signal. GMRS, CB, height and antenna is everything. If I was standing on top of this building in front of me, she could probably hear me. Maybe if I even stood on a car, she could hear me getting a higher elevation. But we're 300 feet here in North Carolina, about the same elevation here, 2 miles to the house. It's not really that many hills. It might be a few little dips, but they're not big at all. So right there tells you elevation and everything. I could hear her one time on this. Static came through. I guess the day is going to make a difference too. The atmospheric condition is going to make a day. So probably at the most, you're going to get 2 miles out of this on a good day. But anyway, hope this helps you. Leave some comments and check out the HYSHIKRA antenna. I'll put a link in the description. It obviously is a better antenna than a rubber duck antenna, and these things are actually fairly inexpensive. They work well. Love these Midlands. I think this is the best radio Midland ever made. The 75-805. Then the next best one they made was the 75-810. Anyway, you get the idea. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.